The sky was dark as we dried off. We wrapped towels around our waists and went into the main house. The only clothing I had with me were my sandals and my mid-thigh black shorts. These shirts are beautiful, I said with a hint of envy as I picked through Eden's duffel bag. I pulled on one of his tight tank tops, much sexier than the cheap threads in my suitcase back at Topeka's. I looked in the mirror. You look amazing, he said, seconding my opinion. We walked to the middle of town, climbing the wooden steps that led from Harbor Walk to the canteen, a cafeteria-style eatery. Eden had been prom king, I discovered, as we ate across from each other. I came out right after we graduated, he said between bites. Then my ex, the prom queen, got breast enhancement. When we were close to finishing our food, he shared something titillating. That was when I learned I was different. I realized other guys don't have multiple. I swallowed my food. Did I believe this? Okay, I said, so you're saying you can go multiple rounds in the same session? Yeah. I believed him. He didn't seem to be the type that needed to inflate himself. He was already top of the line, and he knew it in a calm, kind way. I wish I'd known that earlier, I said. I would have given you more attention down there. He smiled. I don't want it all about me. He reached over the table and laid his hand gently atop mine. I'm having a really good time with you, Darren. The attention you're giving me is perfect. We followed music to a club upstairs. Overlooking the harbor, a large dance party sprawled underneath pink and white strobe lights. To my surprise, I spotted my friend Ford. I ran to him 6 months ago. It was Ford who'd taken me to industry for the first time. Dare, he proclaimed as he saw me, his cherubic face lighting up. I jumped up and down, throwing my arms around his neck. Oh, I exclaimed, is your friend ever going to come back to New York City? She's so friggin' cool. Labor Day, the athletic, handsome 23-year-old said. A group of us are going to stay in the motel. The what? The motel next door? Big white building. We got a suite on the top floor. And by suite, I mean a room with multiple bunk beds. I laughed. Oh my God, that place looks like a trip. I said goodbye to Ford and returned to Eden. I began jumping around to the music on the dance floor as he watched me with a look of obliging amusement. Soon I asked to be held. The music thumping around us blended from one song to the next. His embrace was warm and safe. Am I too heavy? Are you bored? I asked. No, he said. Darren, you're perfect. I dragged my hands up and down the length of his back. As the beat beneath our feet merged from one rhythm to the next, my head nestled onto his shoulder. I inhaled, smelling the warmth coming off the thick slope between his shoulder and neck. He smelled like leather and shaving cream. It was the soap we'd used in the shower. As the songs changed again, I kissed his cheek, kissed his neck, kissed his ear. I could tell he liked what I was doing from the wordless moans vibrating through his neck. I didn't know how much time had passed when we left the club. I didn't want to look at my phone and find out. The moon was partially obscured by a cloud cover. Disparate chunks of clear night sky provided a glimpse of the sparkling tapestry burning millions of miles above. Air's moist, he said. Probably gonna rain. We began walking back towards his house, our arms wrapped around waists. The heat coming from his body felt familiar by now, almost like it was an extension of me. We'd almost made it past the harbor before we stepped off the boardwalk and faced each other. We began kissing in the obscurity of the dirt-lined ravine. We eventually resumed walking. We stayed in the ravine as we walked. As we moved, we kept arms wrapped around each other's bodies. We made it another 20 steps before our walking slowed again and then stopped. He reapplied his face to mine. It was so dark that I could essentially see nothing. I closed my eyes. My other senses heightened. I smelled mulch. There were large mounds of it piled up on the side of the ravine opposite the boardwalk. I felt his caress and the caress of the sweetly warm, faintly damp night air. I heard crickets. Their symphony was beginning to overtake the cicadas. I tasted an answer I had waited patiently for my entire life.